Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray, and this here is the brand new POCO F7 Ultra, launching this week here in Singapore. POCO brought us out to take a look at the phone to see what it has to offer. So I'm going to be doing a 24-hour test with this device to show you guys what it can do as far as performance-wise, but also, of course, do my standard camera test as well. So let's see what the POCO F7 really has to offer. Let's take a look. Since I am starting things off with the camera test on the POCO F7 Ultra, let's start off with the camera specs as well. And that main sensor is a 50 megapixel primary camera, which is actually the same sensor that we're seeing on the Xiaomi 15. So it's nice to see the correlation here between a cheaper flagship device and that more expensive one on the Xiaomi side. As far as the telephoto camera, it is a 2.5x telephoto with actually a floating lens, which also allows it to be used as a macro camera, getting in really close to your subject. Now, it does have the 2.5x, but it can also go directly into a 5x digital crop on top of that telephoto, getting you much closer in. And then to finish things up on the rear cameras, we have a 32 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 120 degrees field of view. Those rear cameras can record 8K video from that primary camera, 4K video at up to 60 FPS from that telephoto and the primary, but then that ultra wide is limited to just 1080p, which is a little bit of a disappointment here because you can't do zoom all the way from the ultra wide to that telephoto camera. If you want to record 4K video, you have to switch down to 1080p if you want to start with that ultra wide. As far as the selfie camera goes, that also is a 32 megapixel camera, and just like the ultra wide, it is limited to 1080p as well.
Encourage creativity.
Tattoo, not here. If I stay alone, I will feel better. Looking on my blunt tattoo, not here. If I stay alone, I will feel better. When I go outside, I'm speechless.
I do have to say, I have been pretty impressed with the overall video quality from the selfie camera so far on this device. Even though it isn't 4K video, the overall quality of what you get, the exposure and saturation is pretty good. But I'm gonna flip things around to that main sensor on the back of the phone, just to give you guys an idea of just how much better the video is gonna be when you're using 4K video and a much larger sensor than what you get on the selfie camera on the POCO F7 Ultra. Okay, and now we are switched back to the main sensor on the back of the phone. This is 4K video. You'll notice that there is a shallower depth of field behind me just because that sensor is so much larger than what you get on that selfie camera, but you also get a lot better resolution here. Again, 4K video as opposed to 1080p. So in these situations, you have a lot more video detail or resolution to work with if you're editing your video after the fact, or if you're uploading to a platform like YouTube where you can upload at full 4K.
Looking on my blunt tattoo, not here. If I stay alone, I will feel better. Looking on my blunt tattoo, not here. If I stay alone,
How's your steam bath?
Quite good.
So let's take a quick break from those photos and videos and talk about the other hardware here, because this phone is incredibly powerful using a Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, and the base model actually comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, though you can bump that up to 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage as well. As far as the design goes, you have a yellow model, which you see here, but POCO also has a black version of the F7 Ultra as well, which does look pretty good. And then powering all of that is a 5,300 milliamp hour battery, which, though it's not incredibly large, it is a little bit larger than what we typically see on a flagship tier device. And then paired with that is a 120 watt charger that can take the phone from 0 to 100% in anywhere between about 40 and 45 minutes, which is incredibly impressive. But you also get wireless charging at up to 50 watts, which is a lot faster than the Qi 2 standard that most other devices are using these days. And then finally, we do need to talk a little bit about the Visual Boost 70 chipset that POCO has put inside of this phone. Now, this is a custom chip to help with the video rendering on this device. It's not only to make the HDR look a little bit better on the screen itself while you're watching content playback, but it also is used to boost the frame rates while gaming as well. Similarly to what we've seen on some high-end TVs for the last couple of years, that they'll use a custom chipset in order to boost the frame rate so that you always get 120 FPS. This does this similarly on a smartphone so that your gaming experience is as smooth as possible. And after using this phone extensively on this trip, I had an 18-hour flight in order to get here from the US. This phone performs incredibly well when it comes to gaming. The benchmark numbers might not be the highest, but the added Visual Boost 70 chipset actually makes it a whole lot smoother than what you get on a lot of other, even some dedicated gaming devices. But of course, to put all of this in the context, we do need to talk about the price of the POCO F7 Ultra, which with the base model with 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, that'll set you back $599. But if you do want to upgrade to the 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage, you're going to be looking at a price point of $649, which I have to say is a really, really good deal. And now let's get back to those photos and videos.
We're about halfway through the day, which means it is lunchtime.
Time to eat some
Food with the flour? It fell off. Am I supposed to eat this or not? Yes? No?
Eat it, yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Here you go. I'm not gonna eat it.
Looking on my phone, like till not here. If I stay alone, I will feel better. When I go outside, I'm speechless. When nobody's home, I feel great. When I go outside.
Ready for the Skyline Luge?
Yes, we are.
This is it. Danger ahead. When I first started using this phone, I honestly really wasn't that impressed with the overall camera features and the quality that you get out of the POCO F7 Ultra. But after learning about the price, originally I was thinking this was going to be a $750 to $800 phone. But at $599 for the base model, which does have 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, this is an incredible steal. A lot of other devices that cost $600 have far inferior cameras, especially if you're looking at the iPhone or on the Samsung side. So POCO did an incredibly good job here for the price point. And that's gonna do it. Let me know what you think of the POCO F7 Ultra in the comments below, and if this is gonna be a device that you're gonna be purchasing next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.